everybody. Welcome back to the Lupid Poll Instagram interviews. I'm really excited today because we are interviewing one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. A very good friend that you are going to love to chat to today. Her name is Christy Sellers. If you haven't heard about her yet, she has had some big successes recently. She won Australia's Got Talent. She is now doing on America's Got Talent. And her and I go way, way back. So we're going to chat about a lot of things, and I'm going to bring her on right now. Okay. So she's coming to us all the way from Australia today. And she has been around in the choreography and pole dance world for many, many years. Hi, Christy. How's it going?
Hi. I'm in.
You're in. So good to see you.
I did it. I'm just going to get my camera in the right place here.
Yes, well,
Is that
you
all right?
have had some like super awesome recent news, right? Like literally in just the last couple of days. Tell us what it is.
Yeah, I'm through to the semi-finals of America's Got Talent.
Yes.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So now it comes the planning for the next show, right?
Yeah, well, I did know a couple of weeks ago, but it like was officially kind of televised on Wednesday. Yeah, like 2 days ago. And so now it just makes it all real, I guess. Like it's not behind the scenes anymore. People actually know about it and it's happening. So yeah, I've been working every day on it. So
Oh my gosh, I'm
so
so excited
yeah.
for you. For those people who do not know, kind of what your recent and these last few years specialty has become. Like obviously you guys, I've known Christy for years and years and years, and she's been an incredible pole dancer, creator, artist for many, many years, and has been in the pole world for many, many years. And recently in the last few years, I don't even remember
Mm.
what is it, like 4 years ago, five, gosh, maybe six now, that you started to work with a very special kind of show with the LED lights.
Yeah, it was nearly 7 or 8 years ago now.
Wow. Oh my
I've
gosh,
been
time
doing
flies. I remember when
whole.
you first told me about this new crazy technology that you were so excited to work with and create with. So for those people who don't know much about it, describe it to them.
So yeah, it's basically a video screen behind me, quite close to the pole, and then I create firstly a story and then how I want to display that story, but then I kind of figure out ways to use the pole in conjunction with the screen to create what looks like I'm making things like effects happen on the screen behind me, but I'm not really. It's all like pre-made. But it just becomes, if I can do a good job of it, I become like one with the screen and it kind of makes the whole thing look like you're in another world. And I can use the height of the pole. I can use like obviously inverting on the pole and stuff like that. So it's it's something different.
Yeah, it's such an incredible way to tell stories. Definitely, you guys look up Christy Sellers. I mean, you could find her videos on YouTube with all of these amazing shows that she has come up with. Yeah, magical. Absolutely, I agree, Leroy Mac Designs. And um, tell me about the very first show that you did with with this medium.
Right. So when I first had the idea, I didn't picture it on a big screen. I pictured it on just like a like those pull-up banners that you can use for things. I just thought something like that, and I thought like a little stick figure that I sort of interacted with. So as I was on one pole, it might like something this way, and then I could move to that and go to the next thing. And partly the reason was like just the level of production that it takes to put on the show with the big screen behind is huge. So for me back then, I did pole art in Finland where I had the paper on the floor with all the paints and things, and I like push them around with my feet. Such a
I remember
crazy
that. I
idea.
was there. I
Yeah.
remember that first. Oh wow, yeah, that's right. I literally forgot that you had done that lighting on the floor before you ever brought it back to the screen.
Well, that was paint on the floor, like literal paint on the floor. And obviously, you've got problems there because it can get really messy and you're pushing. It's just, yeah, it's not ideal. Um, anyway, so I was playing around with stuff like that. And I just kind of always felt like we could do more, not just be dancing with the pole. So I had this idea for the screen and I bought all of the equipment that I needed and I started like downloading some just stock videos of things like birds landing. And I was like, oh, what if I put my arm out and the bird like lands on the arm? Like the footage was already there, but I just was trying to get creative with how I would use it. So doing things like that and then I was gonna, I needed someone to animate what was in my head because I couldn't find enough just stock videos that were already out there that already existed to use for a show. So that's when I started looking for someone who could create the animations, and I came across a young guy. His name was Ryan, and he was still in high school. He didn't really have time to be doing anything, but he had kind of created a project that was along the lines of what I wanted to do. And I was like, what if we just adapt this? And he was like, yeah, we can do that. And that was kind of like, that was a really good way to start to feel out like, oh, how would this work? And how could it's just evolved so much from then because you start off and your mind thinks of it in a certain way because you live in reality every day, right? So your mind thinks like, oh, okay, well, I can go here and I can do that. But then the possibilities when you can create anything are really overwhelming because they're endless. Like you can go anywhere with it. So since then, how I think about the shows now is completely different. Like it was I feel like two-dimensional years ago when I started doing it. And now it's become a lot more intricate.
Yeah, and I'm curious, so is Ryan still doing all of your animations for you?
No, I've been the last nearly 4 years, I think I've been working with a guy called Jan, and he's in Prague, and he's amazing, incredible animator, and it's all of this like pushes him as well. So he's got to find new ways to make the things like I'll be going through the show with him at the beginning and be like, okay, so this is going to happen, and then I want this to do this, and then he's like watching going, okay, trying to think in his head, oh, okay, which tool do I use to actually animate that? So yeah, it's really cool collaboration.
Oh, that's so cool. And in addition to, this whole new way of performance that you have created for pole, you are also a business owner, a studio owner, you own a pole grips company, you own apparel, your studios are franchised. So, I mean, tell us about just
Sounds like a lot when you say it like
how
that.
do you do it all? I mean, and you're a mom of three, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you make this happen?
Um, I don't know. It just like I don't know. I'm just really passionate about what I'm doing, so it doesn't feel nothing feels like a chore. At the moment it does feel crazy busy because I'm I'm in the semi-final, there's only a week gap between that and if I were to get through to the grand final.
So you're making two shows
So,
right now.
so I have to make two shows. Yeah. So I'm like every single day is just I'm leaving in 3 weeks, and that's an insane tight deadline to bring it all together. So it's literally like 24/7, except for when I'm asleep. Although when I'm sleeping, I wake up and I'm going through the routine. So it's probably 24/7.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yes. Well, tell us about let's go way back to the beginning of even you coming into pole and opening your studios, and tell us about
Yeah.
like just the journey of okay, finding pole dancing, going into the performance competition world, where you came from, then moving into opening your studios, moving into wanting to develop apparel and grip and franchise your studios. I mean, give us a little idea
Yeah.
about how that all went.
It was just so organic. Like one thing kind of flowed on from the next. So I trained all styles of dance, and then I just always tried new styles whenever I saw them come up. So I was like, oh, pole dancing, I'll try that. And then I went and did a class and I was like, this is so good. And I loved it. And then I started like really doing a lot more of that instead of the other styles that I was doing. And so I got addicted, like we all do. So I was just training it like every day. I got a pole for home and I loved it. And then because I was already like teaching throughout my whole life, like I taught dance, like teaching just seemed to be something I was quite naturally able to do, like communicate how I did things and tell other people how I did things. So yeah, I got that sort of idea in my head. I was like, oh, I should open a studio. There's like nothing in the area like it. And I teach dance anyway. We might as well like do this new passion of mine. So I started like a little pop-up studio. It was really, really tiny, with like X stages, and we like put them all together every single week. And it was horrendous. Like so much work every single week. And I would run the classes over the weekend and people loved it. And then eventually I could move into like a permanent location. And from there, I opened a second studio in a different town. And then I was going like back and forward between, this is before I had kids, so I could do it. It wasn't too bad. I was like traveling around a lot. But then eventually, a few years later, some of my students started coming to me just saying like, we would want to open a studio as well. Can we open a Fizzy Pole? And that's kind of how the franchise started. And a lot of the pretty much all of the franchisees came from being instructors and then like managers at their studio and kind of being part of Fizzy Pole and then loving it so much that they wanted to open their own. So that's how, yeah, we have 17 studios in Australia now.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. And yeah, the grip, like Enviro Grip came about because of the need that we all needed a grip that was like that liquid chalk type of thing that was reliable. Like with some of the other ones, Dry Hands, we couldn't get it for ages. And obviously we were feeling that as a franchise, and we're problem solvers. So we just kind of went ahead and solved that problem. But I did want to come at it from a bit of a different angle and make it a little bit more conscious of the environment. So Enviro Grip, the name, it's in a biodegradable tube. So the tube is gone. You just put it in regular waste, but it fully degrades within 6 to 10 years as opposed to 450 for plastic. So it's quite a difference. And then each one that we sell, we have 50 cents goes to the tree planting days that we run. So I haven't even posted about this yet because I've been so busy doing that AGT prep. But last week we ran the tree planting day in the Daintree rainforest, and we got 1,000 trees in the ground.
Wow.
So it's really cool.
That's
I know.
amazing.
And that's because of people buying the grip and the clothes. Like that's literally because of them. And we pair up with Rainforest Rescue, who are kind of in charge of that area and organizing the days and stuff like that. So they do that side of things, but we fund it, and we got 1,000 trees in the ground.
That is so cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of that.
And I remember seeing Enviro Grip come out, being super excited about it, and then all of a sudden you had apparel too. I was like, what? This is great. So then how did that come about? Was that
just
always the plan, or just...
No, I just kind of go with the flow. I'm like, oh, what do we need now? It's not intentional. It's just that I like solving problems and creating things, and I like being creative in business the same way I do in performance. So I don't know. I just was like, how cool would it be to create like apparel that sort of has that environmental feel to it, like the patterns and things like that. So the collections are usually always based around something to do with nature. And then same thing, the The clothes are made from recycled plastic water bottles, and then the donations go to run the tree planting days as well. So
That's
thank you,
wonderful.
anybody who is listening who's purchased anything, because we've got all these trees in the ground thanks to
That's
them.
so
So
wonderful. And I literally forgot about the poll subscription box. You have a poll
yeah,
subscription box
what
company too.
about idols?
Oh my gosh. Tell us about that.
I know. Um, yeah, it's a subscription box for pole dancers who want to stay motivated every single month. The box not only has like training equipment and things like that, but we feature a different pole idol every single month so that the people who are members can be introduced to people like yourself, and a lot of the time they don't know the idols at all. They haven't followed them because, you know, for like you and me, we're the, what do we call, we're like vintage age. um so
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of them, they're like, oh, who is this? Like last month we had Heidi Coker, and a lot of them were like, never heard of her.
No.
And
Oh my
I
goodness.
know, to you and I, we're like, what do you mean you never heard of her? A couple were like, oh, I think I've seen something, but they haven't like really got sunk into like watching the performances. And it comes with tutorials as well, and I try to like make the things in the box kind of reflect the idol of the month. So in Heidi's box, there was a meditation mat, and just like, it was really, her playlist that she selected was like a Zen kind of thing, which was really, really cool. And then for you, obviously, we had the flowy skirt, which was so much fun, and
Oh
everyone
my
loves
gosh.
that. Yeah.
I love my
So
skirts so
subscribe
much.
if you haven't.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. Again, it's another business idea born from this need. Like, yes, to get
Mm,
these new pollers to get inspired again, right? To
yeah,
see some of maybe the pioneers of the industry, be able to watch some, watch some videos in different styles, get some goodies in their box that
yeah,
encourage them to get to the studio and taking care of their bodies and have, I just love that. So yeah, it does make sense. It seemed I love that like everything that you do is just like, hey, there was a need and I felt
yeah.
like I should just fill it, I guess.
I know some of my ideas, I'm like, no, I don't, just
You get
like,
another idea and you're
stop.
like, no, please don't keep sending me ideas, universe, because then I
Yeah,
have to do
that's
it.
what it's fun. I'm like, oh, it needs to be done. And I knew that the subscription box, like, I knew that that needed to happen for
Yeah.
maybe a year before I did it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do the work. Like, it's so much work every single month. You're organizing people and equipment and snacks and keeping track of like making sure it's different every month, and I love it, I do, but it's the same as my performances. It's like that grind when you're in it, like, oh my god.
Okay.
So
So I think the conversation has gone this way. I think we need to know. So with you having your hands in all of these amazing projects, um, how and as a mom, like
mm,
about how you delegate and how you how you manage a team and the importance
mm.
of that. I mean, I'm just curious about how that all comes together.
I think the first thing is to be able to delegate, because a lot of people, they just have to do everything themselves. And yes, it will be done slightly better if you did it yourself, but you don't have the time to do every single thing yourself, because if you did, you'd only be able to do a certain number of things. You wouldn't be able to do more. So, yeah, realizing that someone else doing it 80% is better than you doing everything 100%. Does that make sense? Like if they make a poster and it's like it's really good, it's like it's not quite there, like you maybe would have put that there or had a slightly different color there, but it's done. And to be fair, businesses are kind of like kids. Like when you start them, or for me anyway, everything is done by me. Like I was still packing every single Enviro order until 2 weeks ago. I
Wow.
only just put someone on because I'm so busy with AGT now. So I only just put someone on that. Whereas, so EnviroGrip's 2.5 years old, whereas PhysiPole is 14 years old. So that has a whole head office team now. Like there's people in charge of the syllabus, in charge of marketing, in charge of operations and franchise support and things like that. So that becomes much easier to start delegating because as the business gets older, it stands on its feet a bit more. It doesn't need you as much, just like a child, and it can start to do those things without you if you'll let it. And of course, you can be the type of like overpowering, like, no, I have to check everything that has to be done. But at some point, you have to step back and do that. But you know, with Polescription, again, I was packing every single box until only last month. So and that is a brand new one. It's only, I would still be packing the boxes if I wasn't doing AGT, but I need to prioritize my time at some point at the moment because I have 3 weeks to create these crazy big shows. So I think it's the ability to let go and to let the people who are helping you find their groove and feel like you trust them enough to give them the reins a little bit rather than micromanaging everything that they do.
Yeah. And do you, I mean, is your schedule just like when you're not working on AGT, is your schedule just full of meetings with your teams? Like, I can't imagine like how you check.
My schedule is not full of AGT. Like that's all it is right now. Luckily they're bearing with me. Like the small, yeah. So where I can, I'm jumping into the meetings to make sure like PhysiPol's all good. But like I said, the team is so great there, and it's such a established business. It's okay if I'm not there for 2 months. You know, like it's all right. I'm in the Ballarat studio right now. Like no one's here actually, but I'll train after we chat here. But yeah, just touching base with everyone, making sure they're all right. But I feel like I'm dropping balls all the time. Like I don't feel like at the moment, you know, the kids as well, like they've always got stuff on. Like Ollie, my youngest, he's autistic and he has like OT appointments 3 times a week and stuff like that. So that's pretty full on. He was meant to have one this morning, but they cancelled 20 minutes late. It was weird. I was like, are they coming? No, they're not coming. And then like this afternoon, my daughter's started self-defense classes, so I'll take her to that. And then all the things. She's got her birthday party next weekend. So I was trying to fit it all in, but at the moment I do feel very, very immersed in the AGT preparations because it has to be that way. Otherwise it's not going to get done.
Yeah. And what is it? Okay. So with this AGT, like what is the, like what happens now and what would happen after these next 2 shows? Like after the finals, what happens? Is that it for AGT?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Unless you win. If you win, you do 4 weeks residency in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Molly, how do you feel about that?
Well, that's the goal. The not 4 weeks, but like a big residency in Vegas. Big production, lots of dancers, pole, aerial, dance, projection or LED back screen, LED floor, LED walls, and under the seats of the people in the audience, and a 4D experience with wind, a little bit of water. But it's going to be huge, like when I can do that.
So say you win and you go to Las Vegas, your whole
Yeah.
life changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, but the winning, so I did think that it was your own show in Vegas, but actually you're just part of, not just, but like you are part of the AGT live variety show among with a heap of other acts. So I don't think you actually create a full length production of your own. Yeah, I didn't mean to say just, but I mean like you're doing probably the acts that you did on the show in that Vegas.
I see.
I'm not really sure. Like that's not my focus at the moment to look into that, but I just know that it would be a 4-week commitment. But the bigger goal for me is the big production that runs over 10 years. Yeah.
Wow. And so what happens if you win? Does your family come to Vegas with you?
Yeah, probably. Because I'm going to have a hard time being away for like the 2.5 weeks that I'm about to leave for. So
Yeah.
it's it would be hard, especially Ollie, my youngest. He's just like, he's just a baby.
How old is he now?
He's 3, but he's nearly 4. But because he's, has autism, he just acts younger, and he's still like got the skin, and he's still got the cheeks, and he doesn't talk yet, which just, I know, like, I should be like, come on, talk, but it just makes him so cuter, and I don't know. I just love him exactly how he is, and I just try and give him all the love, because I feel like if I got that good energy and the good vibes, like he'll be all right. Like he'll get there. When he's ready, he'll do it.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay, well, tell me about where you see all of these things. You got, you're juggling all these things right now. AGT is obviously at the forefront, and everyone, please go watch Christy, you guys. She's getting ready to go up for the semifinals and the finals, so be cheering her on and sending her good vibes. What would you foresee with all of these different projects that you have going, like 5 years down the road? What do you envision?
Um, I don't really know. Like I would love them to just be bigger, because some of them are new. Like I said, they're just little baby businesses, but I'd love for them to grow a bit more. I'd love to be able to do this Vegas production that I have in my mind. Um, I I hope that I can keep. I've Even with everything that's going on, everything, I did Australia's Got Talent, all the businesses and everything like that. I've found a really nice place in my life where I enjoy every day, and I don't, I do have big goals and big dreams, but not at the expense of the peace that I have found and the happiness that I do what I do genuinely because it fulfills me and I feel like it's my purpose. That's why. So if I were gone tomorrow, I know I'm on my path. I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. So as long as I can not stay there, but like grow to in the same path that I'm in. This sounds really wooey, but you know what I mean? Like I just feel like I'm doing the right things. My life is amazing, and I have like at the core of it, you can go and be on the biggest stage in the world and do all the things in all the spotlights, but at the end of the day, if the people that you're spending your real life with aren't like you're not giving them what you need to and getting what you need to and having that grounded reality life, real life, like the real people that you touch, not I don't know. I'm really grateful for the experience and like the cameras it's amazing and everything like that, but at the core of it, I'm doing this because I want to create the art. I'm not doing it because I want to be famous. Like I really don't. That doesn't bother me. I'm I'm extremely grateful, but it's not my reason. So as long as I can stay on this focused point and not go off that path into something that's not genuine, then I'd be happy.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you're doing it for the doing it, not for that end goal. You're doing it because like you want to wake up every day and work on it because it's fun and it's wonderful.
Stressful. Right now it's stressful. It's do you know what it is? You know this. Why is this plant coming into my chair? I don't know. It's just been annoying me the whole time. I'm like, don't say anything. Um you know how it is. When you're creating, it is rewarding, but you do it because at the end of the day, you get this little capsule that is there forever. And you can always go back and watch it, and you can share it with your loved ones, and other people can enjoy it and take that gift as well. But you start off out here and it's all crazy, and you get a fragment and another fragment, and you start to bring these fragments together into something that becomes cohesive. And then you have a time capsule of creativity that's there. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you put that. Yeah, I always used to say like, when it came to like all the performances and competitions and like, back in the days and when me and Mary were collaborating a lot, and even when you and I were collaborating a lot,
Yeah,
like it was never for the, like, it was never because we like needed to get that thing on stage. Or I mean, that's wonderful to have that little time capsule thing you created, but like showing up to
yeah,
rehearsals every day with your friends,
yeah,
like, what what's better than that? Do you know what I mean? Making something so cool that is just like all these little nerdy pieces that are just coming together that you didn't know the answer to the day before, but
yeah.
somehow that as you're building it, like things start to get closer to each other and start to lock in, and you're going, oh my gosh, that was it. And it was okay that I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was yesterday or like the week before, but now I do know because it's told me, I just,
It's so weird how, yeah, it's so weird how that happens. Elizabeth Gilbert in her book, Big Magic, explains it like this energy, this creativity, like idea that is like a rush that comes past you, almost like wind that goes past you. And if you ignore it, it might come back a few times, but eventually it will leave you. But if you grab it, and sometimes she says it's like catching a tiger by the tail, like you've got to get to the piece of paper and write it down, or you've got to get to the pole and like do it, otherwise it's gone. That I feel like when I when I read that book, I was like, oh my god, this is what it's like. The ideas come, and if you ignore them, eventually they leave you, and they're like, well, you're not gonna happen, or you're not gonna create me, and then they might go to someone else maybe. I don't feel, yeah, I feel like the ideas, they like, they just kind of, they don't always happen like that. Sometimes you have to really work for them. But a lot of the time, I listen to my song on repeat when I walk each day because I use my walk as my warm up. And it's also like a really good processing physical movement to process mental information. So if I listen to my song and start to go through the choreography, it might only be once every run through of it in my head that I'll be like, oh, that could go on that beat. And then that's all I'll get from that entire run through of the song. And then it'll go again, and I might get something else. And then eventually all these little moments come together. And then hopefully when people watch it for the first time, they're seeing all of the moments all at the same time. So it's like an explosion of like, oh.
yeah, that's so true. Because it's like when, I always tell my students, like when you do that first, like laying down of like outline,
Yeah,
everyone, I think what happens to people is they're like, oh, well, this is not good. And I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on. That's the outline. That's okay. You
yeah,
got to live with that. You got to live with that for a little bit, because then you're going
yeah,
to listen and you're going to watch and you're going to go, oh, there was a moment. And you know what? I can add that in now. And that gets layered then on top of that outline. And
yes.
then, you have to live with it. You have to live with it. Like you're saying, you take that walk and like all those little pieces come out to you. Maybe only one of them comes out to you listening to it through that whole time. But then in the
Yeah.
end, when you have that end product, you have then gone in and already done that. So when they're, like you're saying, when they see it for the first time, it's magic.
Yeah, I love that. It's exactly right. You've got to layer it, and people, especially people doing pole performances like for the first time or new to it, expect that people like you and I get in the studio and it just happens. It doesn't. It starts like you should see it.
Yeah,
It's
you should see those videos.
bad. It's
You should see those
bad.
videos in our camera rolls.
Ooh, it's not good. You're like, something over here. And then I'll do something like this. And you just kind of like there's parts in so the performance that I will do for the semis is all but done. I just need to rehearse it and get that like in my body. But now I've had to start digging into what I would do if I got through to the finale. So that is it's it's at that beginning stage where you're like, something there and something there. But eventually, those things, if you stick with it, you start to, for me, I film it. And then when I watch it back, I'm like, oh, no, that needs to move there. Like you watch it completely differently. You have to film everything because if you don't film it, you can't see from the eyes of the viewer. So there was one part, like I was doing it and I was doing it and I was doing it. And then I watched the video and I was like, why am I doing it one count early when the music literally says stop in the next count? I was like, anyway, got it, move on. And you see
All
it.
of a sudden, yeah.
Yeah, you just see it when you're watching it like that. But it builds and you've got to just trust the process. I need to tell myself that right now.
Yeah, and it always works, Christy. It always works. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways, we're gonna wrap up this interview because Christy and I could nerd out on you guys forever, really.
we could.
In
Yeah.
fact, we're probably gonna get off this call and go nerd out some more right now.
Yeah.
So, everyone send Christy your amazing, great vibes. Thank you, Christy, for just a glimpse into your world today. And
Thank you.
we will be watching you, and I will see you in a second.
Yeah. I'll give you a ring. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Take care. Mwah.